Hello, everyone. We'll give it a couple of minutes, just see if we have some more people join us, and we'll get building the carbon Arcus from Durafly. Hopefully we'll go from unboxing to ready to fly in, well, however long this video takes. So just bear with us for a couple of minutes. So who have we got in the chat? Hello, Fabrizio. Hello, Christian. And hello, Richard. Can everyone hear me okay? Microphone working? Please tell me it is. It would be terrible if it wasn't. And hello, Valentine. Christian, awesome. Thank you for the thumbs up. Okay, well, we've got a couple of people in here. So, hey, there's only one thing to do, right? And that is get building. So, as we mentioned a moment ago, this is the carbon Arcus from Durafly. We had a quick unboxing on the channel in a short, but I put the lid back on it and I haven't looked at it since. So, let's go through it together and see if we can't make this thing fly. Valentine, yes, it is foam. So, it's a foamy, but so you get rid of that. The idea behind this plane apparently is that it's an F3A style biplane, which is rather unique. I'm not sure if I know any other F3A style biplanes on the market, so it should be fun. So first look, this is one of the two wings. Now this is obviously repeating our short on the channel, but for anyone who didn't see that, we've got what seems to be the bottom wing. That has got the, don't break it already. It's got the servos already pre-installed in there. So that's that. We have another wing pretty much identical to that one, with the difference that this one does not have servos in it. So obviously we're going to have to link the top ailerons to the bottom ailerons to have them work, as there are 4 of them. And we've got a VIP in here. We've got John from the lighter side of RC. Hey, mate. Anyone who isn't already subbed to his channel, wait until we finish, then go do that. We've got a neat couple of elevators, which seem to have a click-in-place kind of system. So I'm not sure, but we may not need any glue for this plane. We'll find out soon enough. And then the big chunk, we have the fuselage, which is definitely unusual looking. First thing that strikes us is, well, the lack of a canopy of any kind. But of course, this is an F3A style model, and current F3A biplanes are pretty much symmetrical top and bottom, and generally don't have a canopy, or if they do, they're just painted on, but they're not actual canopies, as they don't tend to have a bubble, because that would make it less symmetric when flying upright than upside down, or inverted if we're being professional. So what else have we got here? We've got a prop, a bag of goodies, which seems to include a spinner, the struts to join the 2 wings together, a load of ball links, and the tail wheel. Running out of table quickly here. Got wheels and wheel pants. Nice and sturdy wheel pants for a change, so that looks quite nice. And landing gear with a piece of foam already attached, which I can't help but find funny that they've gone into the detail to actually include the foam in the bottom of that. I'm guessing so as it matches the bottom of the fuselage perfectly. Well, almost perfectly. They couldn't match the red to finish the peak, but close enough. Anyone who wants to, I'm sure that's an easy enough fix. And that is our box. Let's get that out of the way so we can actually get to work. What are people saying on here? We've got Jim Edwards, 6S. No, I believe this is for 4-cell. Or at least that's what I've got ready. Yes, a 4-cell 2200 milliamp LiPo battery. Now, unfortunately, personally, I don't have any of that exact size. However, from my flying wing, combat wing, I have quite a few of these OptiPower 4S 3300 milliamp packs. So it's going to be a little bit heavier, but we are going to get longer flight times. And as this is an F3A style model as opposed to an out and out 3D, I'm sure that the extra, 50, 80 grams probably isn't going to make any kind of real difference. And we should be able to have a load of fun without needing to buy a whole new set of batteries. And before we get started, RC Maxi, when does the F20 build start? Well, sorry, mate, I am going to correct you there first. This one is the F5, albeit very, very similar. This one is basically ready to start building. I wanted to get this out. You can't quite see it, but on the other table, just over there, I currently have the wing set up and, set up to start building it. So ready to receive servos. It's already got the landing gear in. So that will be coming out also really, really soon. Hello, Earth as well. Okay, so where do we start building? Now, in the box, it comes with this very short instruction. More than instruction, it's the quick setup guide. Now, this is effectively just the center of gravity, CG, the throws, and a little bit of basic information about what the plane is. So no use for building. There is, however, a QR code, which if we scan it, we can go to the Durafly Hurricane website and download the full manual. Now, based on the number of parts in here, I'm quite sure we're not going to need that, as we already have the CG, which is about the only thing that we probably should check up on. So let's try and get it built without looking at the manual, and then we'll see how many things we need to put right because we messed up for not looking at the manual. Now, where do we start? Good question. Well, on the bottom of the fuzz, basically, we've got slots for the landing gear. We've obviously got the location for the wing with a hole going into the fuzz to receive the servo wires, because the bottom wing is the one that has the servos in it. We've got 2 pins here, which I'm guessing is where the screws go. And then at the back here, we've got the locating pins as well, where we're going to install the tail wheel. So let's start with the tail wheel. Start off easy, eh? So, bits and bobs. Get rid of that so we don't have too much stuff on the table while we're building. Now then, when the guys at Durafly Hobby King sent me this, I did say that there was one condition, and that was that I was going to call things as I saw them. So anything that I don't like is going to get a shout out just as much as anything that I do. So just bear that in mind while we build it, and any comments will be genuine. So first of all, tail wheel. Not much to say there. It's a wheel, goes on the tail. So that should just slot in here. They have made it right in as much as that the pivot point seems to match up with the center of the hinge line. And then it actually has a little plastic part here in the rudder, which receives the actual pin, which is a nice little touch, as it should avoid ripping out any foam in case of either a tough landing or just turning too quick. So it just reinforces that area, so it should put up to any kind of landing or turning. Well, that goes in there easily. Now, which of all the screws do we use for that? Maybe we should look at the manual, eh? What do you guys think? Manual or no? So Valentine's asking, do the motor and ESC also allow for 6S battery? Honestly, I don't know, mate. What's in here? Can we see what's in here? It's got the latch here at the front. No, the 50 amp speed controller only seems to be rated for 2 to 4S LiPo. So a 6S, at least on that speed controller, would be a no-no. And as for the motor, I can't see what that is without disassembling the nose, which is pre-assembled. It is actually held on with 2 screws. Let's have a look at that. Hang on, I'm going to lose my tail wheel in a sec. Let's have a quick look at what's under the hood. We're supposed to be building, not unassembling, disassembling, unbuilding. Going the wrong way. I'll blame you, Valentine. I think that's both the screws out. It is quite a tight fit. So, does it come off? Yeah, I think it's just a little bit stuck to the paint, which is fair enough. Oh. Remind me again why I'm taking the cowl off? No. Too much force and it's unnecessary. Sorry, mate. So we're not going to see what motor's in it, but as far as the speed controller is concerned, that can take between 1 and 4S. So, sorry, 2 and 4S. Okay, let's get... Hello, Lucas, all the way from the Czech Republic. Great memories from the Czech Republic, from the EXFC. I'll try and pronounce the location, but it would be terrible. Noshmo, something like that. Awesome place, though. Now then, what are these? These are Allen key screws. That's a nice change. Hang on. Just need an Allen key. Preferably the right size Allen key would be good. There we go. One and 2. There we go. Tail wheel on. Now, next, I think we're going to go with the landing gear. Landing gear. I'm guessing it's bent forwards. It's an F3A model, though. They tend to have rather unusual looking landing gears. So before we mess that one up, let's have a look. Yeah, it kind of sweeps backwards, as you can see there. Sweeps backwards on there. All to avoid looking at the manual, eh? Okay, so it sweeps backwards like that. So we need to put that on there. If we flip this upside down, line it up with the holes. And then it seems to have threaded inserts into the fuzz. So we have a little bag here with normal bolts, metric bolts. So let's just see carefully if they fit in there. This would, of course, be easy if we look at the manual, but where's the fun in that? Yeah, they fit in there nicely. So that's the first one. 4 of those. 2. Sometimes I wonder why you guys watch my videos. At the end of the day, we're putting in 4 screws here. It must be like watching paint dry. What's everyone else saying? We've got Fly with Mohsin. Hi, Martin. We met at Stars and Aces, Ahmedabad, India. Amazing airfield in India. If you haven't watched the videos from when we've traveled there, make sure to do so. But there's also a new video coming up soon from our last trip to India. That was just in December last month. Had another blast, spending a few days there, flying all kinds of cool planes, jets, nighttime flying in the dark with lights, really cool stuff. So if you aren't, quick plug, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on that one. And RC Maxi is asking which events we're flying at this year. Well, it's still quite early in the year, and I'm still working that one out, to be honest. Hopefully, though, I'll give you the same answer that I tend to give anyone at any point in the year, and that is as many as we can, and as far afield as we can as well. So, just like anyone, love flying. Love the events, love meeting all you guys and everyone at all the shows. So the more shows we do, the more fun we have, all the better. Okay, so we found the bottom wing. Obviously the bottom wing, as we said, is the one with the servos in it. Wires through the hole in the bottom of the fuzz, and then you'll be able to screw the wing on. Personally, based on the size, once I have this screwed in, I can't see myself taking it apart again. It's going to be fitting in the car as it is, fully assembled. So it'll be a fun, nice little plane to chuck in the back of the car and go fly without having to do any kind of assembly at the field. So just slot this in through there. Try and face forwards so that we can then reach these wires through that hatch in the front. Camera. And then we've got some long bolts here, which I'm guessing, again, very much guessing, they hold the wing in place. Same kind of threaded inserts as we've just seen. Landing gear, I think. How far in does that need to go? Okay, that one seems to have gone in. First one isn't, so that's not great. I'll have a look at that later on. But, well, definitely looks like an F3A model already. What do you guys think? Should we fly it with just one wing? I kind of want to fly with just one wing. We'll fly it with two wings first, but that looks kind of epic with just one. Okay, elevators. Before we get the top wing on, the elevator halves very much seem to just have a clip on here, which just clips into here. The elevator is attached one half to the other. That's a square peg, so as soon as one moves, it's going to move the other one as well. So it's effectively a one-piece elevator. So this should poke through there, something like that, a bit more. There we go, we're halfway there. And then the other one. That fits into the elevator and into the stab. Make sure everything lines up. And a nice reassuring clack to confirm that everything's locked in place. Why can't big planes go together like that? Nice and simple. Little trick for everyone. You probably all know it anyway, but make sure to bend your elevators and ailerons quite a few times before you attach the servos to them. Normally when they're right out the box, right out of the factory, they're still quite stiff. And if you can just loosen them off a little bit, well, A, you won't risk damaging any of the servos, but B, those servos are also going to work a lot better because they're not fighting with the surface itself, which means they have, if they're rated for whatever torque they're rated for, a kilo or two, whatever it is, they actually have a kilo or two running onto the surface rather than the surface sucking out half that power just to move itself, meaning that there's only half that torque or less going out to the actual surface that's in the airflow. Well, seems to be going well. Have a quick look at the chat, at the comments. Where are we? Where we were left at. In some videos, there's a success strike in the background. Do I fly helicopters? I have flown helicopters in the past. Currently, though, I leave that to my better half, Raquel Bayot, who's, well, as far as I'm concerned, but also probably anyone else, I'm not sure anyone would disagree that she's the best female 3D helicopter pilot in the world. She won the World Championship of night flying in the open category, so both against men and women. So yeah, she can definitely fly helicopters. So I gave up on helicopters quite a few years back because at the time I was flying prop planes, jets, drones, so FPV drones, and helicopters. And even though I enjoyed all of it, it was just too much. So something had to go, and the one that I was least good at was by far helicopters. And then drones followed shortly after because I was just had no time to actually keep the hangar afloat. Just so many builds, assemblies, repairs, touch-ups, and servicing happening on all four types of aircraft. It was just impossible to keep up with. Now then, I'll tell you what, that looks like a rather interesting system. Don't break it. System for the wheels. So the landing gear comes with the wheel axle pre-attached. So both the wheel and the cowling, the spat, can fit on there straight away, just like that. But rather than actually securing the wheel to the wheel axle, the wheel simply slots in here. Everything slots through the axle, and then the plastic has two holes where we screw the spat onto the landing gear, and as then nothing can slide off, nothing can go anywhere. So we're avoiding the use of collets or anything like that, which is interesting. Let's see if it actually works. Don't put screws in your mouth, Martin. It makes it difficult to talk on a live video. Okay. So, wheel and spat goes onto the axle. Something like that. That should then slide all the way through. And all the way into landing gear. I'll tell you what, it's a tight fit, but it seems to be working. A little bit of wiggling. Put the first screw through. Yeah. Number one. Number two. we've got the same for the other side. We've got our wheel in the spat. Just need to push that through again, making sure everything lines up. Come on, where are you? There we go. Ah, that side actually fit in nice and easy. Then we've got the same 2 screws just to lock everything in place. Lovely. One more screw to go. And that means we've got 3 wheels on, we've got the elevator in, we've got the bottom wing in. All we're missing then basically is the top wing and starting attaching servos. So, oh, don't lose that. We'll need that later. Okay, definitely starting to look like an airplane. So, wing number 2. This one has nothing in it, as we said. So, that just... okay, there's a... on the top of the fuzz, we've got the same shape as we have cut out in the bottom of the wing. Now, that should just slot in there nicely, but there's, as it's got some plastic parts pushing through, which are the bits that I'm guessing give it all the strength, it's got a few pieces of foam that have been stuck to it, which I think are what's causing us a little bit of difficulty to get that stuck in there. So we'll just get a knife and cut that off for a sec. And then hopefully everything will fit on nicely. There we go. Okay, wing. It's interesting because the fuselage is mostly painted. However, the wings, elevators, and the rudder are actually all sticker based. So they're vinyl stickers of some description. Not sure why they didn't do all in paint or all in sticker, but I'm sure they had their reasons. Okay, so more long bolts going through into that plastic part. Yep, that's one. One more to go. It's also got some plastic parts in the top of the wing where the screws go. Not sure if you can quite see that, which basically again reinforce where the screw is. So we're not just screwing in foam. We've got plastic supports everywhere to reinforce everything. But that, yeah, it definitely looks like an F3A style biplane. We'll have to see if she flies like it. Just need to get her finished first. So, what have we got left? Not much. We've got a few loose bags here. We're just going to get rid of those. Get that off there. Keep things neat and tidy, especially when we're not following the instructions. Now, what have we got? We've got our struts for the wings. So so the top wing is slightly further forward than the bottom wing. Let's see. Is there a top and is there a bottom to these? Now they do seem to have a little YouTube play button at the bottom, which I'm guessing is the one that points out which way is forwards. So if that's forwards and the top wing is further forwards, that will have to be at the top. See, logic makes sense sometimes. Okay, so that just slots in there. And then we've got some more of these little screws have to say, the build, would you call this a build, guys? Is it an assembly? It's an assembly more than a build, isn't it? It's got the servos pre-installed, it's got the motor pre-installed, it's got the speed controller pre-installed. We're just assembling it because they can't ship it like that because it would take up too much space and it'd be too expensive to ship. Well, as we're coming up to that point, do you guys want me to show you the radio setup as well? Or are we just going to wiggle the sticks and make sure everything works? Let me know in the comments. We'll be setting it up on my usual Powerbox core radio. Given the fact that the top wing has no servos in it, it's going to be a very standard configuration, really. So basically, we've got one aileron, two aileron, one elevator, one rudder, and the motor. So it's a 5-channel airplane. So we can use a small 5-channel receiver. So we'll use the Powerbox PBR5S, the small 5-channel receiver, and we're ready to go. So that's what one wing looks like with the strut installed. Not too keen on the black, I think. I'm not sure. I'd probably rather it matched in with the plane a bit more. Let's be honest, the name of the plane is Carbon Arcus. Now, I'm not sure where they got the name from. Yes, there's some colour on the top of the wing that's been painted out to look like carbon. Yes, they've used the black struts for the wings, which are not carbon, they're black fibre. Same applies to the battery mount. So I'm not too sure if there's actually any carbon in the plane, period. But I guess it's a fun name. We all like carbon, so if that's the worst thing we can say about the plane, I think they've done well. And so far, that's the case. Hello, Juan. So you want me to hover it in the shop? Okay. Exactly what it was designed for, mate. Exactly what it was designed for. I'm not sure. I think I'm growing old. I might feel too attached to the other airplanes here in the hangar for that at the moment. Especially when you still haven't flown some of them, like the F5. Been sitting there for way too long, but this week it's going to get its time on the bench. Need to get it out, need to get it finished, need to get it flying, especially after having flown Tassus's one in Dubai in December. I was really surprised at how smooth and how nice that plane flew. So as long as this one's the same, it's going to be absolutely amazing. If you didn't see that video, you've got it here on YouTube, just a few videos back. Full flight on the F5 in the traditional classic Swiss airshow colour scheme, the white and red. The same colour scheme that I put on this on the bottom. So, might not be able to see it there, but rather than doing just the grey colour scheme, the grey Swiss, this one has the grey Swiss on top and the red Swiss on bottom. So it should be quite visible in the sky. Well, that's the plane fully assembled. It definitely looks cool. Hang on, let's get that on there. I'm not too keen on the tape, which they use to be able to pull that out again. It's a little bit naff, but it's a nice looking plane. Definitely looks like it should be missing a canopy somewhere around about here. But, okay, so now radio time. So we need to connect our receiver, center the servos, make sure that the servo arms that do come pre-attached are actually in the right place to start with. Make sure they're centered. We don't want to start an F3A plane with servos that aren't centered. But once we've got that done, we can then look at the linkages, which obviously come provided as well. Get them attached. I suppose we could attach the two ailerons together, can't we? So what have we got here? We've got a load of ball links, some clevises. So which one goes where? There should be two which are identical. There should be another two which are identical, which will be for the aileron servos. Two for the servos, two for the ailerons themselves, and then we've got the elevator and rudder. Okay, so where are we? Okay, so we've got the very old school style of clevis. So we've got the 90-degree bend on one side. I'm not sure if you can quite see that. 90-degree bend on there. And then the clevis just hooks in the hole and then clips in and it holds it in place. So put that through the hole, attach it, clip it into place, good click, and hopefully it's the right length, which amazingly, there we go, good click again. It does seem to be. Again, just make sure you waggle your surfaces, make sure that they're nice and loose for when you attach the servos. But if you look at that, centered top, centered bottom, pretty good. Can't complain at that. So I'll do the same on the other side. Get our other linkage. Connect that through the hole, get our clevis, shoot that on there, click. I can't trick you guys. You definitely know when it went in. Yeah. As he said, I'm reaching for the pliers. There we go. Clip. That one is pretty centered too as well. Again, wiggle, wiggle. Can't help a good wiggle. So, now onto the radio. Let's see if we can show you guys how this works on the core. Just swing that round so I can actually see what I'm doing. Let me just change this into English after all. Setup, system, back into English. Cool. So, is this going to focus? Yes. Okay, so we can go into our menu, basically select model, new model. I'm going to call it Arcus. I'm not going to call it carbon when there isn't any. See if that focuses over there. Arcus. Okay, it is an airplane. It's not a jet. It's not a delta wing. So proceed. Wing. Control is with the aileron stick. We're going to select servo number 1. And for the second aileron, servo number 2, for example. Tail is controlled with the elevator stick. We'll make that servo number 3. Rudder with the rudder stick. That can be servo number 4. And then throttle is the only one that we're missing now. That is on the throttle there. Detects that automatically. And we want servo number 5. Go back, proceed. We're good to go. Now we just need to link our receiver. So receivers, and we'll press bind. So, hang on, I'll come back round into view, we need a battery, we need a receiver, and we need to plug stuff in. Let's bring that round. Which receiver am I using? This one. It's the PowerBox PBR5S. So after all, we are only using, as we've just seen, 5 channels on this plane. 2 for the wings, 1 for elevator, 1 for rudder, 1 for motor. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5. So all we need is 5 channels on the receiver. So single antenna, 5-channel receiver, and we're golden. So we need to connect this into the motor channel so we can power it up. Let's see. That's interesting. The speed controller has 4 wires coming out of it. Interesting. So is there a beck on here or not? Or is it for programming? Let's blow it up and find out. So throttle, what did we put on throttle? Throttle, I think we did channel 5, didn't we? Yes, channel 5. So let's just check and move our endpoints for channel 5 so that they're set to 100% each way. Connect channel 5 to our receiver. And put our 4S LiPo into here, see if power comes through, and if it does, that'll bind our receiver. Press bind, make sure the polarity is the right way around on the connector that they've provided in the plane. Sounds promising. Hooray! So, not too sure what the other wire does on the speed controller, but it doesn't seem to be necessary, so we'll just ignore it. So, I've got a few more wires in here. What have we got? We've got they're conveniently tagged, which is always a nice touch on this kind of plane. So this one is the elevator, which we said I'm quite sure was number 3. Very quiet servo. Wasn't sure I plugged it in. The rudder was number 4. There we go. And then the 2 wires that we have left are both of our aileron wires. Now they're not particularly long, so this might be a little bit fun to connect everything up. Bear with me. Aileron number 1 and aileron number 2. Just plug that all in there for now. Get it out of the way. Now, I'm sure you already know, but we've made a point not to install the prop until we've got everything set up, as I don't want to accidentally clip the motor and have this thing shooting off inside the workshop, or worse still, catching the digits. Arnold Claycomb, yes, very good point. Depending on the radio, obviously you have to reverse the throttle as well. In the case of the PowerBox, just like Spectrum and I believe JR, you don't normally need to reverse the throttle. And in, I think it's Futaba now, in the latest versions of the software, even though you still need to reverse the channel for throttle on Futaba radios, it now actually comes pre-reversed. So it looks like you've already reversed it, even though it's a brand new created model. So, ailerons don't work because we've not connected them yet. Okay, that makes sense. I'm not good at talking and doing things at the same time. What can I do about it? Hey, so, okay, we can disconnect the battery for now. And now we just need to make sure that we have our, make sure not to land it on any screws. Don't want to ding it already. So both the aileron servos have their control horns nice and straight to start with, which is nice to see. So if we clip our ball link in, just normal pliers, and then push that clevis into the hole. Should have probably done that the other way around. Should have put this on first, as it's now upside down, but we'll do that on the next one. So just attach that on the outermost hole of the servo. We can always reduce it later on if necessary, if we have to reduce the endpoints of our servo because it's getting too much movement. After all, we want to use all the power in the servo, so we want to use all the travel. We don't have to limit it. Both ailerons now connected. Arnold meant the fourth wire of the ESC for reverse. Oh, that's a good one. Mate, you're going to make me look at the manual. Could it have reverse for slowing down on the down lines? Much like the... yes, maybe it does. We'll look into that before the video finishes. Thank you for that idea. See, that's what manuals are for. Oh, hang on, it was better the other way around because we've got the servos on the back, on the underneath. We've got Footy Lover. What's the best backyard foamy flyer? Well, for many a year, I would have given you the answer that the multiplex Stuntmaster was great, but it always had the same issue that the servos that came installed were absolutely terrible. So at the moment, I would have to say, it's just out of shot at the moment, but any one of the RC Factory foamy lineup, they're great. They're great flyers. The combos that they provide have plenty of power. The servos work. Yes, I do tend to change them out personally because I look for the absolute stupid amount of precision and speed out of them, which in most cases isn't really necessary, just to have fun in your backyard. But yeah, so anything like the, I mean, I've got here my own, it's now a bit old and a bit bashed, the RC Factory Edge. Really great fun plane. This one I actually have new extra coming, so look out for that video coming soon as well on the channel. But that one has been great. That one isn't really a backyard flyer though. That one's a little bit too big. So that one's a 1 meter size. That one's great if you have a big yard and a bit more space. If you're looking for actually in your garden flying, definitely look at the 80 centimeter size. They just fit nicely. They're that bit much slower. They also do less damage if you hit something, and they also bounce a lot more as and when you do find that there's a wall or a tree that's somewhere in your way. Hi Luke, Mr. DLG. So when are you going to give me some more lessons and stop laughing at the videos that I launch out there? And Wayne Miller, if 4S 3200 would work in this plane, I think that would get me off the fence to buy it. I don't want to have to buy more batteries for this size. Well, that's me exactly. I've got, I'm going to be using 3300 milliamps, so 100 more than you, basically because they're the batteries I have. So these are the OptiPower 3300 milliamp 4S LiPo packs, and these are what are going to be sitting in here. So when we get the video flying it, we'll report back on whether they do work or whether it is a little bit too heavy. But based on my own expectation, I think they're going to be fine, because at the end of the day, it's not a 3D out and out nutty plane. It's a different style where that little bit of extra weight, as long as it doesn't affect the CG, is probably actually going to be in its benefit. It just makes it more locked in. Personally, when I was flying iMac, I always used to go for slightly heavier iMac planes rather than lighter ones. Lighter ones tend to get buffeted about in the wind, especially when it's small and particularly lightweight. So it might actually work in our favor having slightly bigger batteries in there. Let's see if we can get this rudder attached, and we'll continue replying to all you guys. So Footy Lover, you have a big backyard, so we'll possibly get the Super Extra L. Nice. That's the one that I currently have on its way to me, and I can't wait to. Basically, we're going to unfortunately strip out the gear from that one. It's I've had it for probably 4 years ish. It's got more glue on it than foam, and having flown it so much here, the foam is now kind of a little bit brittle, so it's definitely looking for a replacement. But looking forward to getting that extra. Now this one, the length isn't quite right. Just need to make that a little bit shorter with the ball link. Yeah, that looks about right. And give it half a turn more. Help with the pliers. There we go. That's the rudder. And we've got one more for the elevator. Luke. As Luke's pointed out, RC Factory have their own backyard series planes, which are basically those 80 centimeter ones that we just mentioned. Great flying planes, loads of fun. So Luke, when are RC Factory going to do us a foamy DLG? You remember the one that Horizon Hobby brought out, the tiny UMX one? One of those, something like that, a little bit bigger. Just, that would be so cool. We need to find something to replace the Elf. Or, I mean, you're the DLG guru. What out there flies as good and as easy as an Elf? I think Vladimir is no longer producing. The guy who made the Elf and the Blaster, or if he is, correct me. I've always wanted to get my hands on one of those Elves, and it's just never happened. And recently, when I tried to actually go and order one, unfortunately, the whole situation in the world meant that it was no longer available. Come on. There we go. So that's all our servos connected to our surfaces, which means if we reconnect our batteries now, don't go anywhere. Don't get scared now. Now then. Here it is. So, we have working ailerons. We have working elevators. And we have a working rudder. Now, it's worth pointing out that Powerbox Radio, when you create a new model, all the endpoints, the standard endpoint is still 100. You can go up to 200. But when you create a new model, all endpoints are set to only 50. The idea behind this is to avoid damaging any surfaces if you just turn it, basically create a new model, turn it on, link it, and then go all the way to one side. That way, with only 50, it's never going to reach maximum, and you're never going to damage anything, and you can go up incrementally rather than just whack, whack, boom. So it's already got more aileron there. That's only at 100. It can still go up to 200. Normally, the servos probably won't go quite to 200. Servos will probably go to about 140, 150, as with most brands. But not the quickest servos I've seen, also not the slowest. First impression is that the precision seems to be pretty decent. There doesn't seem to be a massive difference between where it centers one way and the other, but of course we'll find that out when we actually take her up in the air and test her properly. Do the same to the rudder, just increase that up to 100. Rudder left is left. elevator up is up, and both ailerons are reversed. So just reverse both ailerons before we forget. We don't want to forget that. Obviously, reverse ailerons on takeoff are epic, especially when it doesn't happen to you. But anyone who says it hasn't happened to them probably hasn't been doing this long enough. Do the elevator sub-trim as well. Get that on there. Check out the rudder as well. That's pretty good, actually. And that's it. One working plane. What have we got? So Luke's telling us, and Arnold. So Arnold's saying that concept is a great DLG. I keep hearing about the concept DLGs everywhere. The only issue I seem to have with them, if it's the one I'm thinking about, is that it's darn expensive. Which I'm not saying it's not worth it, but it's expensive. Luke has some 1 meter balsa DLGs, but they aren't so good as the Elf because of the weight. Vladimir started up production again, so hopefully some planes will be from the factory soon. Luke, let me know as soon as they make the Elf. I want number one as soon as they're back up and running, please. See, so says the guy with the jet. Yeah. Okay, I admit to that. Priorities. Maybe I prioritize jets over DLGs. Probably because I'm not too good with the DLGs, and I'm not quite sure I can justify the large ticket price when I'm still trying to figure out how to actually throw it half as far as Luke and Didier and all the gang. Still waiting for some more lessons. Unfortunately, Luke and Didier broke the plane last time they were trying to teach me. Didn't you, Luke? Neil, no, this one is available from Durafly, so Hobby King. Comes direct from one of their warehouses, from the EU one, I believe. Luke, you fixed it. You fixed the plane. Yeah, but that didn't mean we could do any more flying, and you didn't seem to want to let me fly yours, did you, mate? Okay, so anyway, back on with the plane. We've got a plane that's set up. Just need to add in a little bit of expo. Need to attach the spinner. It's worth pointing out that it does actually come with a Y lead, which means you could potentially attach both ailerons to a single channel without needing anything extra that doesn't come included in the box. So nice little touch from Durafly to provide that. We've got our spinner. That's a, hang on, there's a weird spinner. Okay, yeah, hang on, I'm going to show you guys exactly what this does. So the spinner is slightly unusual. We've got, let's see if this focuses. We've got the back plate spinner. The prop that fits on it, a chunk that fits over the top of that like that, and then the nut that keeps the prop in place is actually integrated into the spinner itself, and that locks that down like that. I've never seen anything like that before. First impression, I'm not too sure how much I trust. Oh, wait. I got it. Okay. That's unusual. So the motor actually has basically a nut shape integrated onto the prop hub. The same shape has been attached into the spinner. So basically, even if we only tighten it finger tight, which is effectively all you're going to be able to get on that front piece of spinner, it's always going to spin with the motor because it's not flat on flat. It's a hexagon going into a hexagon like that. The prop then fits into the part where it has the prop shape into it. So this is, I'm guessing this is only going to work with this particular prop. You may not be able to change the diameter or shape of prop or even brand of prop, because then you would need to be cutting out parts on the spinner. And then the spinner, hang on, try and spin it around so you can actually see what's going on. So we've got the spinner locked into that sort of nut. So even when I spin just the outer part of the back plate, it's spinning the motor. Or if I spin the motor, it's always taking the back plate with it. Prop goes onto there, into the cutout. Top part goes over the top of it. And then that just, it's weird because it looks like the spinner out of a contra system because it's got so many parts and pieces. Make that nice and tight. I'm sure they must have tested it, but that's an unusual system. Okay, so final comments. What have we got here? So we got Luke. Okay, how they continue a week later. Try some F5J stuff. Also a tad pricey, but a lot of fun without the throwing. F5J, Arnold, that's the basically powered speed gliders. Is that right? Am I getting the right letters on there? And Luke, when I come to Spain, we will make a part 2 of the lessons. When you come to Spain, Luke? When? When are you coming to Spain? 4-meter thermal glider electric. That sounds even more pricey than the concept. Definitely sounds like fun though. Anyway, so that's the build of our carbon Arcus, now ready to go, ready to take off. Just need to charge batteries. Unfortunately, it's pretty much dark out now, so we can't go outside now and fly it. It'll have to wait to another day when it's daylight again. But I'm excited. It looks like a fun little airplane. Didn't have any hicks on the build except for that one nut, that one bolt for the bottom wing, which I'm going to still have a look into seeing, make sure it's actually locked in properly. That one didn't quite go in as smooth as all the others. But other than that, really easy build, really quick build. I mean, we've been going, a little bit over an hour. But most of that has been me yabbing and reading comments and replying to things that are completely non-related to the airplane. So probably if you just sat down and got on with it, you'd have it ready in about 20 minutes. So yeah, just look forward to flying it and seeing how she goes. Have a quick look at the comments and then we'll call it a day. So $2,500 to $3,000 US all up. Maybe I'll stick to the jets, mate. Maybe I'll stick to the jets. All right. Thank you all for watching. It's been fun. It's been productive for me, at least. Got a new airplane ready to fly out of it. So thank you all for joining me on this little adventure. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't already for more videos, either like this or normal short form, where we just upload it as a regular video. Let me know if you want to see more live videos like this, or if you do prefer just the clean and edited out versions where we go through the whole build in just 10 minutes and show you the most important parts and what we did differently. Or if you prefer having a chat, discussing everything except for what we're supposed to be doing, and just all in all having some fun. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next one, guys. Thanks for joining us.